Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this morning I treated myself, which I do occasionally, to a Dunkin' Donuts coffee. As you all know, Dunkin' Donuts has the greatest coffee ever created, and so every once in a while it's good to go and get a cup. Now, I wanted to start this video out with a very important quote for times like these when we're seeing the stock market begin to implode. This is an old Warren Buffett quote, and this is one that has stuck with me. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. And what he means by that is, and I heard this quote, I believe, for the first time during the financial crisis. And what this really refers to is that, you know, as long as the economy is great and everything's going along, everybody seems to be doing well. Everybody's driving the expensive cars and going on exotic trips and doing this and that. But when the economy turns, that is when all of a sudden you find out who's really just been living off of credit and beyond their means and this kind of thing. Because once that money gets tightened up, all of a sudden two things happen. The first one is you start to see who's been swimming naked, but the other one is you start to see who the frauds were. And that's when things get really interesting, like, for instance, Bernie Madoff and this type of thing. And so we're already beginning. I saw the first flash of that this morning, and I'm going to show that to you because I believe we are about to find out who's been swimming naked. And that's not just companies, it's also your friends and neighbors who have been driving around in fancy cars for the last 10 years on this propped up bubble created by central banks. And that's part of what's so irresponsible. When central banks do what they've done, they encourage bad behavior and irresponsible behavior, and that's the problem. So here is an article that came out this morning. GE shares drop after Madoff whistleblower Harry Markopoulos calls it a bigger fraud than Enron. I mean, you want to talk about something that's about to unfold and be a crazy story. That is going to be a crazy story. You might not want to own GE stock right now, because for those of you that were around during Enron, by the way, if you've never seen it, go watch it today. Enron, the documentary on Enron, it's called Enron, The Smartest Guys in the Room. It used to be on Netflix, but if it's not, you could probably rent it through Prime. That is a great documentary if you want to see the things that people get away with that were actually swimming naked when things were good and the economies were booming. That's really when all of the crooks show up, is when things are booming like that. And that's a big part of the irony of all of this Bitcoin's a fraud business. Bitcoin is so transparent that you can't swim naked. Digital assets are so transparent. There is no swimming naked. You can, if I own X amount of XRP and I'm telling my banker that I own X amount of XRP, they can see it right there on the blockchain. Doesn't matter what I say. It can be seen. Everything is very transparent. That's part of the reason this is so revolutionary. Okay, now moving along, I wanted to show you, let's go through a couple of things here. X-Men XRP at XRP33 sent me two great things. The first one is this from Zero Hedge. U.S. futures slide, yields plunge after China spurned Trump, vows retaliation. So this thing's just getting going, folks. But this is an interesting one right here. This, it says, Bitwise CEO, Bitcoin ETF still coming as SEC concerns largely solved. Okay, now these Bitwise people, they know what's going on. They know things, but the gist of this article is that it's coming. They're going to approve this. It's just a matter of when. So why on earth would you not own at least a Bitcoin if you could afford to, or just a piece of a Bitcoin if you can? And I'll show you some other reasons why here in a second. But this is this Matt Hogan guy from Bloomberg. He's from Bitwise's global head of research. Matt Hogan, I believe. I just wanted to read you this one quote. The one thing I've been telling people on this channel for a very long time is that you just wait. Once they are in a position to, once the financial advisors are in a position to know how they're going to get paid on digital assets. I've had many people come to me and say, well, you know, I talked to my financial advisor about this and he kind of advised me I better stay away from it. And I tell him every time, that's because he doesn't know how he gets paid on it yet. And that does not mean that your financial advisor does not have your best interests in mind. They do. But if they're not going to get paid, then they're not going to sell it to you. Even if it's in your best interest, it's not going to happen. Because if they're not getting, I mean, financial advisors are like anybody. They've worked hard to get to where they are, and they think they deserve a commission, which I think they do too, just like anything else. But this is what I want you to hear in line. So I've been telling you since I started this channel, once they know how to get paid, you're going to have every financial advisor in the world that is pushing digital assets. So don't take my word for it, because this guy who is he's the Bitwise global head of research. Here's his quote. A key aspect to a Bitcoin ETF in the US is that it unlocks the financial advisor marketplace. So far, crypto has focused mostly on retail investors or institutional investors. Half the money in the United States is managed by financial advisors, and right now it's difficult for them to access that market. Folks, once that ETF gets approved, not only will they then have a product that they can sell and make a commission off of, but that will be the seed that just creates all sorts of financial products, all of which these financial advisors can get paid for. And that's when anywhere from 0.5% to 5% of everyone's portfolio over the next, say, 20 years is going to become digital assets. And remember, XRP is the greatest digital asset ever created. So it has to be in that 0.5% to 5%. You feeling me now? All right. Okay, moving along. Andy Cross at CrossA75 sent me this. This is awesome. Brad Garlinghouse tweeted this 6 hours ago. Looking forward to speaking at the Economic Club of New York. Let's see. This is the Economic Club of New York, where the brightest minds and leaders come to discuss most pressing economic. I think I will follow them just for giggles. Okay. It says 99 SEC Chairman Jay Clayton, 918 Blackstone CEO. I guess he's showing you some of the big time people that speak there. And then on the 8th of October, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. So as you can see, and as I've been saying, so the SEC chairman, you think if the SEC chairman is one of their speakers and Brad Garlinghouse is one of their speakers, and the Blackstone CEO, which is one of the largest asset management companies in the world, you think all of this is going on? You think this is a coincidence? I said it in the video yesterday. This is not just, Ripple is not just another startup, folks. It's not just some other startup. This company has done things that neither I nor anyone that I know has ever seen a quote startup company do. They are in the room on not some but all the time with people that your average startup never gets in a room with, even when they go public. This is not some startup, folks. This is a world change is what this is. And it's, for whatever reason, it's Ripple's ground zero of this world change. Okay, well, XRP Crypto Wolf comes in and says, good luck speaking at the Economic Club of New York. Brad Garlinghouse, will there be a live stream for the conference? I see nothing but high-level important people such as yourself speaking at that conference, so it must be very exclusive. I have a feeling big things will happen September, December. So we'll find out if they're going to do that. Now, this is awesome. So Anthony Pompliano and Peter Schiff, once again, they were having a little Twitter debate. And I think Anthony Pompliano eventually had enough. And he says, I'll bet you $100,000 or 10 Bitcoin that Bitcoin outperforms gold over the next decade. Want to put your money where your mouth is? And then this reply is a classic. This is from Crypto AK. All right. Underscore Crypto AK. Now, I have no idea who this is, but I love their response. Anthony Pompliano, I'll take your bet. However, I will bet you $100,000 that XRP will beat Bitcoin over the next decade. Put your money where your mouth is. I'm calling you out right now. So, I want to see Anthony Pompliano take this bet. It's not my bet. It's this guy's bet. Crypto AK. I'm assuming he's got the wherewithal to do it. But let's see if we can see this through. Because this, but really what I love about this is that for the last year, we've been talking a lot about how these guys will not say Ripple and will not say XRP. And these are not dumb guys that are avoiding mentioning the words. And I've always thought that there's a reason for it, a reason that they can't say. And I've always thought that they are terrified by XRP more than anything. I think that Anthony Pompliano has been cooler about it than most people, but still, he's being called out on the carpet here. And I think, and many of you need to think about that for a minute. Now think about how, percentage-wise, how far XRP is away from its all-time high versus how far Bitcoin is away from its all-time high. And think about, say, $10,000 put in XRP and $10,000 put in Bitcoin. If they both achieve their all-time high, you're going to make a ton more money with XRP, and that's one of the things I think about. In fact, today I was considering shifting a little bit of Bitcoin into XRP. I have some Bitcoin, but I was thinking about shifting a little bit of it into XRP since the prices had gone down. There's a major opportunity right now. Okay, moving along. And I think I'll end here. I love the Joker. This guy has taken a little bit of a break. This guy, he's one of the few guys who's a trader and a chart type guy that I pay attention to. And the reason I do, I've told you before, this guy has been right down to the number, almost to the pennies, on 2 or 3 predictions that he made to me behind the scenes. And he really seems, I think they have a trading bot that they use called Joker, but I think it's like a professional trading firm this guy's with. He says, have you ever sold in panic and told yourself you're done with crypto forever? But the market starts to rise at that moment. If you're sitting at a poker table and you can't figure out who the sucker is, it's you. Hashtag XRP made a new low and RSI is rising. It is bullish. Now, this guy right here, I'm telling you, if you want to follow somebody who really seems pretty sophisticated with all this and knows what they're talking about, he doesn't come in all the time and do some kind of obvious just hype prediction or whatever. In fact, a lot of what he says behind the scenes, and he never posts it. So I've gotten to where not only do I think the guy's really smart, but I tend to listen when he speaks, just because I know from what he tells me and like messages and stuff that it's not, he's not here just to hype something. He's actually looking at this the way a sophisticated trader would look at this. And so I'm learning things every time he puts something out. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and tell your friends and family to go give the Joker at Kia Crypto a follow. Thank you for listening.